have Diane Ofria. Diane is a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner who has worked in the field of advanced practice psychiatric care for 10 years. Much of Diane's work has been in the emergency department and acute patient care in Cape Cod Healthcare. Diane is also a certified yoga teacher and is registered with Yoga Alliance. Diane is currently working in Cape Cod Healthcare's partial hospital program, where she sees a variety of individuals struggling with acute and chronic mental health illnesses. Diane's intention is to complement her medical expertise with the holistic practice of yoga. For the past 6 years, Diane has led the work of the Behavioral Health Provider Coalition of Cape Cod and the Islands, a grassroots organization. The signature event of the coalition is the annual Behavioral Health Summit. This event brings together community providers from a wide range of disciplines in order to share knowledge, learn of local specialized programs, and do some networking. The goal of the coalition is to support a cohesive and effective system of care for the individuals and communities we serve on Cape Cod. Today, Diane will speak about yoga, an ancient teaching for better health. Without further ado,
Hi.
Diane, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Siddhartha. Can everybody hear me okay? No? Talk a little bit. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. All right. I'm going to go up here. So I've been thinking over the past few days that yoga has become so popular that probably a lot of you already have a practice. Can I see a show of hands of who might have a regular yoga practice, 2 to 3 times per week? Very good. And how many of you maybe practice once a month or a few times a year and you enjoy it? Good. And how many have tried it once and it's not for you? Okay. So I'm just going to encourage you to try some different classes because it's not a one-size-fits-all, and every teacher is different, every studio is different, and there's different types of yoga that might meet your needs better. My experience with yoga, my father introduced me to yoga in the 1970s, and he had quit smoking in the late 60s, and he became a health nut. He jogged and everything. And all this movement I kind of took on, and my siblings did too. So we kind of, it was really a great introduction to taking care of your body and your anxiety and your mood through activities. And then when I rode competitively, and I ran and did little triathlons, and yoga helped me to balance that and stay flexible and not become injured. So, so the past 10 years, I really have, it's become my main event. I love yoga, and I found that not only has it helped my mood and everything and kept me flexible and somewhat strong, but it also gives me a really sense of balance. I'm a pretty laid-back person anyway, but I really wake up every day and I, enjoy every day, no matter what's on the agenda. So we're going to have a little history lesson. Yoga is a subtle science which focuses on harmony between the mind and the body. And the yoga word, it comes from the word yuj, which means to join or to yoke. And a yogi is one who's attained a state of oneness, a state of harmony between their body and their mind. Hatha yoga is the yoga that we use mostly today. There's many different kinds of hatha yoga, but they all contain 3 things: breath control, postures, and meditation. Some of the styles you've heard, I'm sure Bikram is a really hot yoga. There's Kripalu and Kundalini, and the power vinyasa flow as well. So we know one thing: yoga started in India, and the word first appeared in the Veda, which is Hindu scriptures. Likely, the yoga that we practice today is much different than the yoga that's been practiced over the centuries. But we still read the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali and the Bhagavad Gita of the 3rd and 4th century current era. Yoga came to the US in 1893. Swami Vivekananda spoke about yoga at the World Parliament Religions. He was sent here by his guru, who believed that the world's religions are but various phases of one eternal religion. And then in 1920, Paramahansa Yogananda was very well received in Boston at a conference of religious liberals, which was a surprise because I think there was a lot of, it was a surprise. Anyway, Boston. So anyway, and we still read Autobiography of a Yogi. And some pioneers was Indra Devi. She was a Russian-born woman who she's considered the mother of Western yoga. She started a studio in Hollywood, and celebrities started to get involved, and women throughout the United States started standing on their heads in their bedrooms. And this book, actually, I'm sure my dad had it, by Richard Hittleman. He had been to India, came back, and wrote books and sold millions of copies, bringing it to the Western world. And it was mainly of physical yoga, but he had hopes that people would learn about yoga philosophy and meditation. And here are some more pioneers of yoga in the West, Walt and Magana Baptiste. As a couple, they had 2 children who became quite involved in yoga. And BKS Iyengar, probably every single teacher has been influenced by him. He really dealt with the precise alignment of the body. So today it's become so popular there, I'm sure you know, there are chains and corporations out there, and it's mostly on the East and the West Coast. Influential teachers of today, Baron Baptiste, Bikram, Rodney Yee. He was a dancer turned yoga instructor, and he has had many videos that I'm sure some of you have seen. Health benefits of yoga. On Up to Date, this is a website or a database that we use frequently in medicine to get the most up-to-date valid research, and this shows all the benefits of yoga: strength, balance and mobility, quality of life, cognitive function. But I'd like to talk a little bit about balance, because as we get older, that's one of the senses that we start to lose, our sense of balance. And just think about it like you're walking across the street quickly and you jump up on the curb. You don't even think about where you're going to put your foot, how high is that curb, and where you're going to put your other foot. You know, it happens automatically. It's a sense that you have where your body is at certain times. And we tend to lose that, and then we have a fall, and then we know how serious falls are. They can be fatal. So we start to look down, and then not only do we start to lose our sense of balance even more, but our posture changes, and we're more susceptible to falls. Some research on yoga, there's tons out there. It's really great to see. I'm only going to speak about a few of them. The first one about yoga for prenatal depression. There were 6 studies. These authors pulled together the data from these and found that, yes, it has a significantly effect on prenatal depression, and it affects the growth of the child and also the postpartum period. And the other one was on stress, inflammation, and yoga practice. They took 50 healthy women, 25 were expert yogis, and 25 were novice. And they did 3 different sessions. One was a yoga session, one was a general exercise session, and one was a video session. I don't know what they did there. But the yoga session by far improved their measurements of their endocrine function and their stress hormones. The thing that was interesting was that the experts who had regular practice seemed to do a lot better than the novices. And then the last one by Bessel van der Kolk. He had a lot of studies out there for yoga as a treatment for post-traumatic stress. This is a really difficult to treat anxiety. It's an anxiety, I would say, right? And we usually only get, partial effect from medications and psychotherapy. But yoga helps a person get more of an understanding of their body and what their body is feeling. So they're able to recognize it and, and respond and manage their symptoms. So we're going to do a little practice. So some of the people up front might have trouble because we were going to, at one point, we're going to use our chairs, the backs of our chairs. So I was thinking maybe, when that time comes, you could come up here if you really want to do it. But oh, Manny, could you hand me my book? Thank you. So right now, just going to ask you to sit up tall. Maybe come to the edge of your seat and your hands on your knees. Feet are hip distance apart. Hips are under your shoulders and your knees are over your ankles. And you're at right angles, right? And your crown is reaching to the ceiling and your feet are rooting into the earth. And you can close your eyes. And lift your shoulders up to your ears and then just let them fall back. And think of your shoulder blades like wings coming down. And we're gonna think. Notice in your body what it feels like today. Is there any stiffness, any aches or pains? And we're going to think about gentleness today in our yoga practice. And I'm reading from a book called The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. The exercise of gentleness. I have no power of miracle other than attainment of quiet happiness. I have no tact except the exercise of gentleness. Oracle of Sumiyoshi. This Shinto sage from the hills of Japan affirms what we all know in our hearts but seldom honor. I have worked hard to give up attaining a place ordained by others in the world, for this always leads me into noise, confusion, and gruffness. Often it is some grief or pain that halts me and jars me into remembering the exercise of gentleness that opens the quiet world. The truth is that more than forgetting this, some unloved part of me whispers insistently that I can have both. Foolishly, I tend to listen out of pity or pride, only to find out painfully again and again that it just doesn't work. In beautiful mystery, the extraordinary edge to everything is covered over with a current of speed and noise, the way beautiful stones are not quite seeable under the rush of the river's face. Only when we can still the river of the world and the river in our face do things become extraordinary and clear. Now let's take breath in through our nose and sigh it out through our mouth. And you can open your eyes. And we're going to lift our hands up to the sky and try to not hit your neighbor. and then down. And to your heart center, and inhale up, and back down to heart center. And customarily, we breathe in through our nose and out through our nose in yoga. And what I was talking about before is thinking of your shoulder blades always. You try to keep your shoulders away from your ears, and your shoulder blades like wings down your back. Okay, so now we're going to do, again, we're going to go up, reach up, and this time we're going to take our left hand behind us or to our hip, and then our right hand to our left knee, and take a breath, sit up, inhale, and then turn slightly to the left. And then take another breath and lift up a little taller and turn a little more. Inhale back to center. Inhale, exhale, and then inhale up again. And then take your left hand to your right knee and then your right hand behind you. And take a nice breath in and grow tall. And then turn. And one more. And turn. And then inhale back to center. Okay, in yoga, I'm sure a lot of you know the cat and cow movements. Those of you who go to yoga regularly, it's forward and back. So we're going to incorporate this in a little hip rotation, okay? So we're going to take a big breath forward and kind of arch your back slightly, chest forward, and then circle. And exhale. Inhale forward. And exhale back. Feel the stretch in your shoulders. And then we're going to reverse it. Inhale forward and exhale back. One more. And now we're going to do a sun salutation in the chair. So you're going to reach up, and you might not be able to do this. Cactus your arms, you might hit elbows. So put your hands on your hips if that works. Engage your core and lean forward and just stop and hold it. And then put your hands to your knees and slide them down your legs and just let everything relax and hang down. Take your left hand and put it between your 2 feet. And reach your right arm up to the side. And exhale down. And then take your right hand and lift it up. Left hand to lift it up, sorry. And then back and down. Hands to your knees and back up. Good. Okay. Now we're going to do the standing part. So if you have a chair in front of you, you're good. If you can come forward to the stage, try that. So put your hands on the chair in front of you, and you're going to have your hands like this, spread wide, and you're going to make your 4 fingers parallel to each other and lay them on the chair in front of you, and back away till your back is straight. And just feel the length of your spine. Technical difficulty. And take some deep breaths here. And then walk to the front of the chair. And we're going to stand up on our tippy toes, right? And you're going to lift your chest, a slight arch in your back. Inhale, and then exhale down. Inhale, exhale down, and then rock to your heels. Inhale, exhale down. Now we're going to inhale and lift one arm. Exhale down. And then the right, and then the left. Inhale, exhale down. And now we're going to do a little balance. So the people that are standing up front, if you want, put your left leg next to the stage so you have some support. So feel your feet, feel all 4 corners of your feet. Feel how they're rooting into the ground, and feel where your weight is. You can rock back and forth or in a circle. Feel the heel of your right foot forward. We're going to do a little balancing because, like we just talked about, balance is so important. So you can take your right foot and you can hold it like this as a kickstand, or you can do it next to your ankle as a kickstand, or you can bring it up to your calf. If you're really flexible, you can bring it up here. But we'll play it low-key today. And you can lift your hand up. And it helps to center your gaze on a point of focus on the wall in front of you that doesn't move. And holding your core tight, engage your core, meaning your strong muscles of your thighs, your belly. And then you can play with your left hand. You can lift it up, maybe put it back down. And let's come back to center. And then on the left side, we can notice the weight going all into your right side. Feel nice and strong, centered, and lift up your left foot to a kickstand position or to your calf and lift up. And you can even tap the chair. You don't have to lift it up. And back down. And let's go back to sitting. So get back in your Tadasana position, which is mountain pose. We do it standing and we can do it in the chair. You're leaning slightly forward in your chair again, feet flat on the floor. And close your eyes again. And notice what feels the same and what feels different. And I'm going to read you the rest of the passage from the Book of Awakening. This is a walking meditation. Breathe deeply as you walk. As you begin to slow, notice how your field of attention widens. Go to the first thing that shows you its quiet happiness. Breathe before it slowly and speak to it with your gentleness. Now take your hands to your chest. Take your hands up to your third eye, which is between your eyebrows. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Please join me in saying Namaste. Okay, any questions? I went too far. Any questions? Yes?
In relation to being a caregiver for my mom, who's 89, and in my view is clinically depressed, and she was just diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Oh.
But she won't do therapy or drug treatment or da-da-da-da. But I think she might do yoga. So is there a particular kind of geriatric yoga, as opposed, like chair yoga would work,
right.
but is there a particular kind of breathing or practice that would be best for her?
I think all of it, because when you're learning yoga, when you're doing yoga, you really become more in touch with your body, and it gives you a lot of confidence, and where Parkinson's is really going to affect her movement and stuff, it might help her to learn how to have some control, So there's tons of stuff on the internet. I don't know if if it's easy for you to get to, but YouTube, just press in chair yoga, and there's tons of really good classes. And I think a lot of the senior centers have them as well. Anyone else? To be effective? Well, the studies show just once a week, but I think 3 times a week to really, feel the benefit, at least. Yeah, half hour to an hour. Can be fun.
I don't know if you've, is that working? I don't know if you're familiar with Yoga Neighborhood. Have you ever heard of Yoga Neighborhood?
Yes, I have.
I started doing yoga with them maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I go to a gym now where I'm able to do yoga 5 days a week, and I also do Yoga Neighborhood. They do it on Sundays at the Katuah Center for the Arts. But in my Tuesday, Thursday class, we do have a man that has Parkinson's, and everybody in that class, we all do it on a mat. He does it on a chair. He stands up and holds on to a chair during part of that session, and he also goes into a spin class,
What?
which is the bike, because it helps his movements. He has a really, really positive attitude, and it's great.
That's great. You guys should talk. I mean, and that's just, and I think the thing about going out to a class is the social aspect of it. That's, you know, as we get older, it can be really isolating, you know, and that that's, you know, part of depression. Really contributes to it. Anybody else? The lady next to the pillar there.
Just wanted to comment that chair yoga doesn't mean that you sit in the chair for the whole time. At one point, after doing yoga for, about 2 years, I found that standing and holding the chair and working around, there are a lot of gray heads in here that think, I can't do this. My hair used to be kind of gray. But I can do great warrior poses. Haven't done it for a while, so I won't show you
Right,
here.
right.
I might fall over.
Right.
But chair yoga, I know there is a class at the Y. There is a class, as you said, at the two senior centers in Barnstable. And I'm sure there are others too. Now, how many of the yogi instructors here in this area are trained to teach chair yoga? I understand not just anybody.
Right, right. Well, I honestly, I don't know of a specific instruction yet, but all yoga instructors should be trained in the alignment of the body, and, you know, what to be careful of, what joints are real, like your neck is always something you have to really be careful of, your knees and your back, of course. So I don't really know of a specific chair yoga certification yet, but one more. Way back. There is not one I would recommend. I looked online, and there are lots of great instructors online. You could probably go to Amazon and find something. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there is there any DVD that I would recommend? And there is not. Anything else? Okay. All right.
That was good.
Okay,
Thank you
good.
so much,
Good.
Diane. That was very, very useful to get us to breathe and move and get the blood flowing. So thank you so much.